Hello everyone and welcome back to SoMCA's channel. I'm going to ask that if you really like today's video that you do hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button if you really enjoyed today's content and come and join this growing base community. I want to let you know before we get even too deep into this video that I have lied to you. You've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled. The preamp that you see in the thumbnail is actually this preamp right here and not the preamp we're about to talk about in this video. And this preamp, let me take it out of the bag for you here. This is actually a Bass Mods preamp. I'll tell you exactly which it is. This is the Bass Mods 33 FB 3-band jazz plate preamp. And I believe this is a first generation because you can't even find this preamp anymore. The ones now don't have the second switch. They have active passive, but they don't have the bright switch. All right, the new ones just have one switch. They don't have both of these switches. Now, the only reason I use this in the thumbnail is because it was a preamp I had out of a bag that I could just show in a thumbnail. But I wanted to let you know that off the rip. This preamp actually used to be in this bass, and that's a story for another day. And that's a story. So the bass I have here, I've intentionally left the headstock off of or out of the frame. And I did that because this bass was featured in another video I did about turning up the preamp, the gain inside your preamp, inside your bass, not going to the gain knob on your amplifier, your head, and turning it up, but actually being able to go inside your bass and turn up the preamp that's built into it. And I told, or I asked some of you to guess what the bass was, and people came back and said, "Well, it's a Fender. Look at it. It's a Fender. It's a Squier." No, it's neither of those. This is actually a SX bass. That's all it is. However, this SX bass, I've now told you one of the secrets that I never used to tell people. What was inside of it was running like a Ferrari, was the Bass Mods preamp that I had, right? Where you seeing this preamp, and I also have Bass Mods pickups on this bass, two jazz Bass Mods pickups. So bear that in mind as we talk about today and you listen to some of this preamp as well. Okay, because it will be tainted with some Bass Mods preamps. All right, so we're talking about a preamp today, and the preamp that we are talking about is the Mings, M-I-N-G''S, and I'll leave it on the screen here, 9010 2-band EQ. And this preamp is made by Mings Musical Instruments, all right? And this was a company that was started back in 2000. Between Korea and China. It was a joint venture, and they originally just started trying to make electronics for acoustic guitars. That was their specialization, but over time the company kind of evolved and they began doing different parts for electronic guitars, and obviously bass is an electronic guitar or a version of that. And so they sell preamps, and this preamp, what we like about it and why we're here today is it's actually very inexpensive. And that's kind of where that other bass amp, that other bass preamp comes into play, because like I said, that preamp was in this bass, but it wasn't working. And so my Lutheran gave me a nice little deal. He's like, "Look, if you want to end up selling this bass, you want to salvage some money, I'll just throw a cheap preamp in there for you." Because I was looking into getting another bass mods to throw back in here. I'm like, that's a lot of money. Maybe I should just get another bass, whatever the case is. He's like, "Well, let me just throw something in it and you can sell it and get your money back." But I'm starting to like the thing sound a little nice. The thing good. So I think I'm gonna leave it in here. So let's talk about this preamp a little bit. All right, it is an active preamp. So as long as you're plugged in, something that you should know with actives, you're using battery. So right now, as I'm doing this video, I'm using battery. So we're gonna make this quick. I already talked to you about the company. So this particular one, Mings makes two types. They make a 2-band and a 3-band preamp. This one is a 2-band. And if you can see, I'm not sure if you can see, we got 4 knobs. The very first one is our master volume. The next one is our bridge pickup, our pickup selector, and it does have a detent, just meaning there's like that little notch in the middle, a detent. Then we have our bass, which also has a detent, and our treble, which also has a detent. All right, so it's really nice. These knobs are really thick. I will say my Lutheran was nice enough, gave me the plate along with it. The original does not come with the plate. It's just the knobs, just the pots without the knobs. And you've got to set it up. But he did all of that for me and only charged me, let's talk about price, $25. Now, you can get these online probably about $18.99, $20, somewhere in that range. He gave me a plate and did all of the work for me, so I didn't have to do that. $25, you can't really, what are you going to complain about? So the upside about these preamps is they sound really good. The downside is uh, I'm sorry, they sound good. They're relatively cheap. The bad thing is there's no mid. You didn't hear me say anything about a mid knob. There's no mid EQ. You just have bass and you have treble. All right, so I played this for the first time in a church today that I've played at several times before, many times before actually, with my Blue Rogue bass that you usually see me with. But a lot of people came up to me after service today and had good things to say about my playing. I'm the same guy. I'm playing the same way I always play. But what this did, because my blue bass is a passive bass, this gave me a little bit more boost and gave me some ability to EQ. It also, something that this has that my other bass currently doesn't have because the knob is broken, it gave me some control over this back pickup, which changed the sound completely. And in addition to having the bass and the treble. So just so you know, the bass knob gives you the ability to boost or cut 12 dB, and you are at a hertz of 85 hertz. All right. Then your treble also boosts you or cuts you 12 dB, and it's at 7 kilohertz. All right. So now we know everything we need to know about these Mings preamps. Okay. So how does it sound is probably going to be your next question. So let's do a few things here. Um, y'all continue to pray for me. My computer's set up. I'm going to be turning this mic on and off throughout this, just so you can get the real sound of the bass by itself isolated without any of the fan noise or me having to edit it out in post, editing the fan noise. Okay, so let's start now. We're at everything's at detent. I'm going straight into my focus, right? There's no amplifier. You're getting the sound directly from this bass, right? Right now, everything is flat. It's at detent, and I'm just going to play a line, and then we'll come back and we'll talk and we'll play a line and so on and so forth. Before we do that, actually, let me just let you hear the difference in sound. All right, so let me just play my low B flat string. I'm gonna boost the bass, cut the bass. All right, let me just do one sweep. Right now I'm cut all the way off, all the way back on. All right, and you're hearing some hum in there. Let's go with treble. Let me start all the way off and roll it all the way on. It's a nice sweeping range there. All right, so just that will give you an idea of how much range you have there, something basic. All right, so let's play something. All right, so that's everything at detent. All right, so let's fool around with some things. Let's go completely forward on our pickup and leave everything else at detent. All right, now let's roll that back and get our Jocko sound. We're going to go to the back pickup. Now, I want you to note, I'm trying to keep this as neutral as possible. So you're just getting the bass and nothing else. So right now where my right hand is positioned, I know you can't see it on the screen. I'm actually right between the two pickups is where I'm playing it. And so I'm just moving the knob. I'm going to keep my hand in the same finger placement. So it's only the sound changing or the pickup choice and not my fingers giving it an additional boost. Okay. All right. So that is the back pickup. I'll go back to detemp and let's cut our bass all the way up. Oh, it's humming on y'all. All right, I'm gonna go back to where it's not giving a little hum. And you know what? Let's go forward just a little bit on our front pickup and keep our treble at neutral. All right, let's move this along. I'm going to cut my bass completely out and I'm going to boost my treble a little bit. And I'm also going to roll to the back pickup more so. All right, really clean. The highs come through really, really nicely. So let's go. Let me just give you one more setting. Let's go bass up to detent, and let's go treble all the way. So if you've been following this channel for any length of time, you know I'm not a slapper. I do not slap. I do not profess to be a slap bassist. I haven't even really learned how to slap. But for the sake of this recording, I'm going to attempt to slap this line, just for those that might be curious. So right now we're at detent on bass, almost maxed out at treble, and all the way towards our back pickup. So quick and dirty. I mean, it's a two band EQ. You can't get really crazy. You got a pretty good idea of the limitations you have, as well as the large range. Surprisingly, for I was surprised for a two band EQ, and you can see the clarity. I really like the highs that cut through. I do have a little fret buzz, so that has nothing to do with the. That is not the preamp. That is the guitar. It's just at that one place on the entire fretboard, and it is. I just find a way to find it. It's really clean. And the lows are meaty too. So, like I said, I got a lot of compliments, and it's the same player, same skill levels, same skill set, um, playing the same way, just a different bass that cut through the mix a little better and assisted me in that. So, there you have it, a cheap preamp if you're looking to put a inexpensive preamp in your bass and you were wondering how it sounds and if it's worth the money, yeah, I personally wouldn't put it in myself. I'd let somebody else do it because it's not one of those plug and play types. As a matter of fact, I haven't even opened. My Lutheran told me it's packed in there. I was like, when I got to change the battery, he's like, I give you a brand new battery, but whenever you do, just know it's jammed in there. There's a whole bunch of cords and wires and stuff. So I dread what it will look like when it's time for me to change the battery. But for now, I'm happy. I'm satisfied, and this bass sounds really good. A brother of mine who's probably watching this video was trying to shake me down for this bass. I like how your bass sounds. Yeah, trying to take my bass to that. I had to make sure when I left my bass was with me. But yeah, that's it. That's the Ming's preamp. Y'all have a good one. Take it easy. God bless.